bit.
The top bit, it says start date 30th of July 2040, when I thought it was all really to do with the pictures one.
Sorry.
The first page, it's like, hold on, no, that might be page 2. No, it's on page 2. It says the start date.
The GP.
It's got like role, professional, agency, start date and end date. The 30th of July, it says when Dad didn't get arrested till the 31st, and that was under harassment.
Okay, let me come back to that one because my system is where it is, so I actually can't get on anything. I've got an assessment printed out, so I can go through the other points, and then I can have a look at what date we actually got the referral. Is that alright? Yeah,
well, there's other points.
Yeah, that's fine. Go on then.
Number 2, Chris refused to allow Stacey to sign the agreement to share information. When spoken to her about the consent, Stacey shared Clay has never been to the GP or hospital and health visitor and does not have any concerns regarding Clay. Dad never refused me to sign anything. I make my own decisions. He informed me because he knows a lot more than me, but I make my own decisions. And I never said he hadn't been to the doctors. I never said he hadn't. I told you why he'd been to the doctors.
Yeah, okay. I'm just making a note of these.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and then it says child protection. Is this assessment being undertaken as part of Section 47 investigation?
Yep.
That says yes. You told me that it was never a Section 47 until I went to hospital and you could never get hold of me.
Yeah, and that's what I've explained in that section. Yeah, so it was Section 17. Yeah, so it began under Section 17. But because our assessments are ongoing for a period of time while we're involved with families, it can be elevated, which obviously we explained to you why that was elevated. So that's why I've explained in there that it began under Section 17, and then obviously it elevated to the 47 on the 21st of October when we had that strategy meeting.
Okay, right. Then it says the summary of the conclusion. Chris was barred until 19th of November 2014 for the allegation of possession of indecent images. Chris has been rebound till the 18th of January.
It's the wrong date, isn't it? I know. It's the 19th, isn't it?
No. Why isn't harassment mentioned when at that point this is the first? I thought this bit was the first meeting. So why isn't harassment? Because the indecent images hadn't been mentioned really. Like, it's for harassment, that
that's
part.
Why we're involved. We're not involved because of the harassment charges. We're involved because of the concerns around the indecent images.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why that wasn't mentioned, because it's not relevant to Clayton, the harassment charges. We're not concerned that would have any impact on Clayton. Yeah. Okay.
Number 5 is it's the same. Upon the request to speak to Stacey alone, Chris went to the back garden, saying that he refused. Once again, Dad informed me not to sign. I make my own decisions of not to sign anything.
Let me just write it down. Sorry, I'm just making notes.
No, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Number 6 is Stacey appears to be unable to consider what risk Chris could pose to Clayton if he is charged and convicted with the offence. You know as well as I do. I'm very aware. I am very aware.
What section is that in?
It's on page 3, right at the bottom where it says the parents / carers.
Yeah.
You know as well as I do, because I've been very upset about what happens if Dad gets charged when he's innocent. You know as well as I do that I do know.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that I think it's about because it's difficult for you to think about actually what risk he could pose. Do you see what I mean? So we're not saying you don't know what risk. It's about the consideration that your dad could pose those risks. But
he's innocent, so he would never... Hold on, I've got to get my charger.
And that's why we have to consider it, because at this time, for us, obviously the investigation is ongoing.
But it says there that I'm not understanding the risks of if Dad gets charged, when I do.
Okay, that's fine. And that's what will become evident within the work that Jan's going to be doing with you. She'll be able to evidence that you clearly do know what risks are, and that obviously with that information you will be able to safeguard Clay, which we're saying you are doing anyway. Yeah?
Okay. This is now on page 5. Stacey needs this ongoing support from her family and friends to stabilise her emotional well-being and ensure she looks after herself. What does that mean? Because I don't need anybody. I've always been fine, just me and my dad. I do not need emotional support from anyone. I've never gone under depression or anything like that.
And that's not what we're saying. That was more in relation to, obviously, you know, we understand that this must have a big impact on you, quite upset during our visits. And so it is about making sure you look after yourself. And you talked before about the support you get from your family. You talked to your brother about what's going on. You talked to your nan.
But I don't need that to ensure I look after myself at all. In there it says Stacey needs this ongoing support from her family to stabilise her emotional well-being and ensure she looks after herself. I don't need anybody. I don't.
Fine. Okay, I'll record. So you don't need anybody and your dad should main support, yeah?
If it is unknown if the police have enough evidence to charge Chris and the charge will result in conviction, that's under the one that I've just mentioned. The question is, what further information do we need to know?
Yeah.
Why don't you know if they have enough evidence to charge him? You should have known this because you've had 2 meetings.
That's something that they don't know either at this point, do they? Because obviously they would have charged him at the last bail day. They're obviously continuing their investigation, so obviously we don't know if they're going to charge him. They can't tell us. They're not going to say to us, oh, you know, we're going to, but we're not going to tell him until January. We won't know until your dad knows.
So what's the point in the police being in the meetings then, if they're not telling you anything?
They obviously updated us that obviously they've got continuing their investigation. So they are, because obviously they may have come to the meeting with information to say, actually, you know, this is where we're at and he's going to be charged, or, you know, he has been charged. Yeah, so they have to come and inform our meeting. And obviously, the information that was shared at this meeting was actually that he's been rebailed and the investigation's ongoing. The meeting was really, really short because actually there wasn't anything updated.
Okay.
To be presented at the meeting, yeah.
Okay. Date social worker submitted assessment the 20th of November. How could you have submitted the assessment on the 20th if the police meeting wasn't till the 24th and then you didn't have a meeting with us till the 26th?
But that's when I had to write up all the information. Yeah, so obviously in that bit further before the Section 47 section, it said that we were having the next meeting, didn't it? And what date that was.
Okay, right. And
I was obviously aware about the bail date change because you told me about that, didn't you? And then the police had informed us.
Right, these are the last 2 points that I'm very angry about. Right, how is there concerned of sexuality abuse to Clay? Because you've put there's sexual abuse, yes. Even if them pictures was Dad, which I stress they're not, that does not make him a paedophile at all. That does not make him want to touch Clay up in the slightest. You know as well as I do that my dad is not touching up Clay. You know that for a fact. You know that. So why is there concern of sexual abuse?
That's the reason we're involved, Stacey, is because the concern is that does your dad pose a risk to Kate, and that's why we're involved, and that would be of a sexual nature. It's not any other reason.
But you've not mentioned that there's concerns of sexual abuse. You've just said there's about the concerns of the pictures. You've never mentioned sexual abuse.
But what that involves or includes within sexual abuse is obviously images of children. So obviously that we're not saying that every person that has images of children sexually abuses children, but sexual abuse happens to children who, the images that are created, the indecent images of children, those children are abused by having those images taken of them.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, so what we have to consider within that, is there any risk to Clayton of that, or that happening, or have happened?
Right.
But at this point, obviously that's why I've very clearly put in there that your dad's been rebailed, police investigations ongoing. So actually we don't know what risk he poses.
Okay, all right. And the last point, now this is something that I'm not going to be happy if this happens. The last one, the completed CNF assessment should be discussed with the child, young person and their parent carers. Why is Clay's dad putting that?
He's not.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. It says Clayton Spivey, Stacey Spivey mother, Harry Maybe father. Nothing gets discussed with Clay's dad. Clay's dad has no parental rights over Clay.
Well, I'll be very clear. The reason his name's on there is because you gave me his name and I updated it on our system as that is Clay's dad. It's very clear, obviously, in there that he doesn't have any contact with Clayton, so we wouldn't be doing that.
So, but why has he mentioned under it should be discussed with the parents and their carers? Because he's got all you've got is my word that Clay's his that he's Clay's dad. I could be lying to you for all you know. He's not on the birth certificate. He's on nothing.
Yeah, and that's what's in regret. It's because he's on our system, so it automatically generates that he's come up under that bit. But that doesn't mean that we will be speaking to him.
Can you take his name off the system? Because I don't want him nothing. I don't want him part of this at all. He's nothing.
Do you want me to remove him off our system? That's fine.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all the points.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, what I can't do is change the actual assessment, but what I will do is record a case note that very clearly records the conversation, the views that the points that you've just given me.
Okay, alright then.
Yeah?
All right.
I was going to look up number 1 again, wasn't I? Let me just, because this keeps breaking now.
Says the start date was the 30th when Dad didn't get arrested for harassment till the 31st.
Yeah, okay, let me have a look through, because that's the date again that's generated for, that just comes up. I didn't input that date. I'm just, well, because we didn't get the referral until the first, hang on, let me, so I'm just trying to get up to the right place for me. Oh, it's really slow today.
That's fine.
I didn't get allocated a case until the 1st of August, but what is showing on our system is that the referral was received on the 30th of July.
So what, do you receive it a day before Dad gets arrested?
Well, hang on.
Because you'd have thought if they'd have done that, you'd have thought if they'd been able to tell you, they'd have been able to get themselves a warrant, wouldn't they?
But at least we had an email from the police saying that they'd attended early that morning.
He got arrested the 31st, early hours of the morning.
Right.
31st, and that was when they come at 2 a.m. knowing full well that Clayton was in the property when they made up the false allegations of us having a dirty home.
Right. It's something I'm going to have to look into because I can't give you an answer.
Okay.
But now, what I'm looking at is that the date, what it's clearly saying on our system, the date of the referral was the 30th.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, well that's all the points.
Yeah, I will record all of them, and what I can do is give you a copy of that recording.
Alright,
yeah?
alright, thank you.
I'll post that to you, yeah?
Yeah, alright then, thank you.
That's alright.
Bye.
Okay.